What's up, everybody? Welcome to Browns Film Breakdown. It's a film room. Haven't done a film room in a minute, but we need to because there's a larger discussion that I want to get to about the running back room. We know with what happened to Quinshon Judkins over the weekend, the situation he put himself into, it accelerates a lot of the thought process around Dylan Sampson, Jerome Ford, and that got me thinking and has led to podcasts and various other things, newsletter. Check all of that out. And today's film room, we'll hit on that as well because the Browns run game is the single biggest thing the team has to fix. And it is going to make or break any modicum of success this season. So we have to really think about it, spend time on it, and try to figure out what these guys are going to do. Now, if you're watching this as a free subscriber, the free preview, or on YouTube as a free preview, come over to the website, subscribe, join. Only $10 a month, gives you everything you need from a Browns fan perspective, deep dives, film rooms, podcasts, newsletters, everything you could want, right? For the passionate Browns fan. So come over and join us and enjoy the rest of the free preview, but obviously come over and join us. I think you'll get great value out of that. Now, what I want to spend time on today is the issue the Browns are having finding run game efficiency. And if you've listened to me on the podcast over the last 365 days or gone through some of the film rooms with me, I am pretty concerned about where it's at and the decline we've seen since the first few years of Kevin Stefanski and peak Nick Chubb. It's been a problem, right? We can all agree with that. Now, there's bigger league trends worth discussing, which I'll podcast on at some point, and there are specific Browns trends, and I want to hit those in a sort of tidy little spot that Jerome Ford brings to light some of the issues. So let's look at some of Jerome Ford's stats. Now, what I tried to hit on here and spend time looking at is where does he find the most success? Now, it's no secret that most of Jerome Ford's success is probably going to mirror most of the running backs that have played over the last few years, right? Kareem Hunt, but he's been inconsistent with injury. And then obviously Pierre Strong not playing a ton, and the versions of Nick Chubb that we've seen, right? Deontay Foreman, some of the others. But what I'm getting at is a lot of Jerome Ford's numbers are a mirror of what the Browns collective is. So this is not to put all the blame on Jerome Ford, and it's also not to put all the blame on the offensive line. It is to say, hey, what does he do well? What do they do well? And how are they going to accentuate that in the midst of trying to get back to maybe what Kevin was better at, right? This pro football true media tool is really good for this. And so what I tried to do is look at a couple different things. Sorting at the top here, you're going to see it's sorted by shotgun. So it's sorted by shotgun runs from 2022 to 2024. That's going to give you an idea of what he's done across 3 seasons. Now, taking into consideration that 22 and 23 schematically were different than 24, which saw a large uptick in shotgun run. But still, for Ford, you are seeing a 5.8 yards per carry number there when he is running from the gun, okay? That's a significantly better number than if you filter this down to when he is not running from the gun, getting under center, which speaks to a lot of the Browns' troubles. 140 rushes, only 375 yards, and 2.7 yards per rush. Okay, there you go. Next question would be, all right, well, how do they handle, how does this specific group handle when you sort of shift into conceptual stuff, right? So if we say, how does he handle zone runs? Are they a better zone running team, or are they, when we'll take off the shotgun concern here, what schematically is he best at? Inside zone, outside zone, 3.7 yards per carry. And in this, you will see one long run that happened there, 69 yards on one carry back in the 23 season against Indy, that really messes with the efficiency. So you're probably talking about, if you take this down, and I don't like doing the take the good and look at the bad thing away. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if you take the good, everything's bad. But this is one run and it's 69, 70 yards. And you take that away or even cut it in half, and you're talking about an even worse numbers, 3.7, but you're talking about something that's even worse, especially early down runs, as you can see there, are not very effective, right? 3.5. And then if you look at, okay, the Browns want to get away from inside zone, which is something that they have been doing last year, and get back to more of the outside zone stuff that they've been doing, it gets even worse. So you're talking about 3.2 yards per carry. So as a zone runner, it's not as effective as it needs to be. It's not something that he is able to handle the clip that we would feel comfortable with. And if you do filter it back to putting shotgun runs into place, and you say, okay, well, let's say, how's he doing in those from the gun? It is better, right? It is better. But consider that you have 5.5 yards per rush, but you got that one run in there. So he probably brings it down to 4.5, but 4.5 is still better. The problem for him is when he gets into different concepts, the gap concept stuff too. Like I'm trying to illuminate. Under center outside zone for him, it's just not very effective. It's been a problem for him across his career. And that's what, again, the Browns are trying to find usage of the outside zone stuff because they want to take more outside zone and apply it to their play action game, right? That's a pretty obvious angle that they're trying to take this year, is trying to get back to that. But otherwise, some gap stuff, which is going to be more of your down pull. You're going to get power as a concept there. You're going to get a little bit of trap, but you're going to get power counter and some pull lead stuff. So when they're not in the gun and he's using those, that's a level of improved success, right? So you're seeing 44 carries, 177 yards, and 4 yards per carry. You put him in the gun for those runs, let's see what happens, 5.4. So what do we know about Jerome Ford? Well, he's a better gun runner than he is a under center runner, which makes sense. He played at Alabama. He played at Cincinnati. He's always been in the gun. It's how he sees the field best. Not an under center guy, which takes a different level of defensive pursuit angles, takes a different level of personnel on the other side of the football, and it takes more vision processing beat ahead. Under center runs, more challenging. Gun runs, spaced out more, often obviously giving you more decisive run lanes. And, obviously, why wouldn't everybody just run from the gun, Jake? Well, that's because leveling your play action into it gets really tricky at the NFL level, where the hash marks makes the field shrink. But for the topic at hand, let's just get into some discussion about if Jerome Ford can handle outside zone and why I'm concerned, because of the Judkins suspension and all of that, and Sampson's specific scheme in college, like who's going to be, if they're going to lean into outside zone, who's going to do it and who's going to do it well, right? That's the question. That's the concern. And that's where I keep coming back to as I'm breaking this down, especially now if Judkins is going to be out, is how are they going to get back? Who's going to thrive in that situation? Because we haven't seen enough of that from Ford. Let's get over to the tape. Let's watch the tape and see what I'm talking about with some of my concerns around Ford's usage, specifically under center and in the gun. All right, again, we are talking about specifically 3 seasons. I really kind of pulled clips from 23 and 24, and I wanted to give you guys a look at where I think the concerns are with his under center running. All right, so we're looking at outside zone here. We're going right side, so we're going to read specifically. We want to read right here, okay? So what is this player going to tell us to do, right? If he gives us an idea that we are going to be able to bounce it, right? If we play it, it's going to give us a choice of 3 routes we can go from this read. We want to see, are we out, right? Are we going to be outside? If I can get this to function properly. Are we going to, what's called, bang this up inside? Or are we going to bend it to the backside? That's what we're trying to read. Okay, so that's the general setup. Now, as we're going, we're pursuing, we're reading. We still have a 2-way go right here, right? So we don't know. We need to press and cut, or we need to sell in and cut. We need to read leverage, right? Well, what am I seeing at the next level? I'm seeing here, I'm seeing 53 already, ready to take out whatever angle is selected. And I'm seeing my backside guard getting his head around. So what am I reading at this point, right? And I'm just a guy at a computer, and I'm just telling you what I think coaches are talking with him about improving. This play needs to be downhill, hugging these two and pushing out this direction. You've sold laterally. Now we need to put the right foot in the ground, burst, seal tight, get around, and get out the gate, right? That's how a gain can be had here. We press it too long. We don't read the level behind the level. By the time he finds this cut, you can see how now it's too late. The backside has caught up to it. And instead of a run that could have been a big run, we turn in a 5-yard gain. Again, we don't hate 5-yard gains, but we certainly would like to see those runs end up in the much bigger, explosive 10+ range. Right now, this is under center again, but similar downline pulling, processing, making something happen, right? So this is pen pull, so you're going to get the center guard pull right here, right here. What we need to do is identify who our unblocked defender is. We see 23, Drew Tranquil, coming downhill. It's our job in this spot to not make him miss with swivel, but to tempo through. Either you're hugging this and going through and beating him to the spot, or you are pressing it and cutting off of it and getting downhill, right? See that little wiggle, the 2-foot wiggle that happens? Instead of just knowing I need to explode right here, 2-foot wiggle, it's a 2-yard gain. All right. So again, we're just looking at examples of why these aren't, from the running back perspective, popping the way we need them to. Now, again, outside zone, this is last season. Okay. Where's our read point? Well, we're going to read off the tackle and tight end. Tight end is our turn. So we know we're up inside. All right. We know we're up inside because Cam Jordan has set this edge against David Njoku right here. So this ability to bounce it, that ain't happening. So we need to make a decision. How are we going to go? Are we going to go up through here, realizing this energy is carrying us back? Or are we going to press it and try to cut down and get vertical right here? That's the decision to make. Now, obviously, I think this is Demario Davis. We'd like to get between these two knuckleheads right here. We'd like to get one of them on him, whether he scrapes or whether he fills. Like, that's the goal between that double team. But let's see how it transpires. See how slow this cut is? I understand 93 right here has the head in the right spot, right? And again, this has a better chance if these two take care of these two. No doubt about that. But in this scenario, you know early, I am going to have to get downhill. I have to put my foot in the ground and get downhill. This needs to be an explosive right foot cut right here. When that right foot right here hits the ground, you can get through this arm tackle. And if you don't even just fully get through it, it's still a 5, 6, 7 yard gain. Instead, you're dancing at the line of scrimmage. You allowed Cam Jordan to beat Njoku, and then it's a nothing play, right? Now, not all Ford, recognizing that's not all on him. Between these two, right? We need an ideal world. Teller doesn't know anything about this. We'd like Njoku to have a better win here. You are asking a tight end to go up against one of the league's better run defending edge players. You know, that's the NFL though. Got to get it done. We do need this to be better. But I am saying running backs can create, and this delay, instead of getting downhill immediately when the read is pretty cut and dry, there's nowhere else to really go. Or again, if you want a next level, like what makes the best running backs in the league the best running backs? Some of these guys will square this up right here and then cut back off this and make this defender in the hole miss. Right here, right? That's what the best in the league are doing, and the guys who get paid big bucks.